If you have EZLynx Retention Center and you want to make it work harder for you, this is the video for you. Jaime's going to walk you through in just about 10 minutes, step by step, the process that you'd take to add an automation to Retention Center that will automatically take renewals below a certain threshold that you choose and send them an email to let them know you saw the renewal, make a note of that in their file, and then remove them from the renewal list. This can save you a ton of time on renewals that you know you don't need to look at and will give you more time to focus on the renewals that came in higher and need more attention. So log into your EZLynx, pull up Retention Center, and get ready to follow Jaime step by step. She'll show you how.
That I wanted to show you guys today with Retention Center is there are a couple automations that I highly recommend that you set up to help you out with this renewal workflow in Retention Center. So if you see up here in the top right-hand corner of your retention overview screen, there's a button that says Set Up Automation. So if you want to click that for me, it's going to bring up a new tab with Automation Center, and it's going to takes you directly into the Retention Center related automation options that you have here. So the first automation that I want to show you how to set up is how to close out low risk renewals automatically for you in your Retention Center. So you remember how a couple screens ago I showed you could just bulk select the ones that you know that you're not going to mess with and that you want to close because they're low risk, low percentage increase or decrease, and they're good to stay where they're at. So you can actually set up this automation that will do it for you without you even having to mess with going in there and closing them out. It's just a huge time saver. And then that way, when you go into Retention Center, you're only going to be seeing every day the renewals that you know need your attention. So you know that you're going to have to remarket them, or you're at least going to have to take a look at them and see, is this customer gonna need a remarket, or have they had a huge claim or something that's causing it to, for an obvious reason, go up on the air. So the first step in this automation for you is going to be, you need to click this applicant added to the renewal list. So this is going to be your trigger for this one. You click it and it's going to bring you to this screen automatically. And here's where we would filter it down. So the filters on this one are actually really, really important. The first filter that I want you to add is policy type. So you're going to select policy type, and it's already automatically defaulted here to is and personal. So this is going to be just for personal lines because commercial lines works very differently. So the first one is policy type personal, and then you're going to want to hit the and button. And then the next filter that you're going to select is the risk filter. So down here, when you scroll down, you'll see these Retention Center applicant renewal filters. So you're going to want to select risk is low. And so there's going to be a third filter on this one. And this is where you kind of decide for your agency what you want this to be. Hold on 1 second here. You scroll down to the bottom and hit total percentage change. So I typically, you can do whatever you want as far as the percentage, but I would typically leave it at 15. So total percentage change is less than 15%. So that means if a renewal downloads, going to pop into Retention Center, pops into Retention Center, and it's a low risk, and the percentage increase is less than 15%, that's what the filters are going to do. It's going to recognize that these are the things that you're narrowing down on your trigger. You can change this to whatever you want though. So if you would rather it be 10, if you would rather it be 5, if you would rather it be 0, you want to make sure that you look at anything that had any kind of increase, you can set it at 0. You can always go back in and change it at any time. Completely customize this to be any way that you want it. But this is just what I would recommend. And you can do it like this now for the sake of the example, and then save the automation and just not enable it if you know that you want to go back into it and mess around with some things before you actually enable it to start working. But once you have these 3 as they are now, go ahead and hit next. So here are all the options on things that you can have this automation do for you. So what I would recommend, just on how I would set it up, is I would have it send an email to the client to let them know that you looked at it, it's competitive, they're good to stay where they are, but to also let you know if there are any changes that need to be made to the policy. So if you get into the email templates, if you already have an email in templates that kind of already says that in your own way, you can use that. But there are these EZLynx agency insights emailed in here that are already created for you. So the one that would be good for this one would be the generic renewal competitive. And you can scroll over here on the right-hand side and see what it says. Also want to point out this from box here at the top, as far as from who you want the email to be from. If you have a custom domain that you created in EZLynx, you'll want to check this assign producer to be the from. So then once you looked over the email, you think it sounds good, you change it to the assigned producer if you have a custom domain. If you don't have a custom domain, you can just your Firefly email address should be listed here and you can use that. Go ahead and hit save action. And then another step that I would add to this, just because coming from a service background, we make notes about everything, as you should. I would do a note in the file that just says low risk renewal 15% or less, and then just put renewal was low risk 15 or less than 15% increase closed out of RC. And then save action. That way, if when you go into the file, the customer calls and says, they want remarketed for some reason, you can see in the notes that you had this one automatically closed out of Retention Center with the automation. And then the last step that you would add to this one is close applicant in Retention Center. You hit that button, this is what pops up. You can leave it at day 0 and then hit save action. So what this means then is the low risk renewal, less than a 15% increase. As soon as it hits Retention Center, as soon as that renewal downloads, it's going to send your customer an email, create a note in the file, and close that applicant out of Retention Center. So you will effectively never see it. It's just going to go away. It's going to close and the note will be there. The customer gets their email and you're good to go. So then you're going to want to hit next. I do want to point out too, though, there are extra options you can add to this automation, just like the welcome automation, completely customizable. So you can not do all these steps if you don't want them. You can add any of these steps to them if you want to. Go ahead and hit next. Name it low risk renewal automation. Copy and paste the same thing in the description because it won't let you save without a description. And it's automatically going to be toggled on to enabled. If you want to disable it for the time being because you want to go back into it and look it over, or aren't sure about the percentage increase or whatever, you can disable it for now and then hit save workflow.
Jaime, I'll just chime in real quick and say for the agents who are listening that to me, what's really cool about what you've just shown is that not only can EZLynx do this where it shows all those renewals and the risk, high, low, and all that kind of stuff, but if you preset those thresholds that you're good with, it can make contact with that customer for you, make a note of it in the file so you know it's there,
Right.
and really save time in multiple ways so that then you can focus on the ones that you say, okay, I got to go and requote these.
Right.
And so anyway, it's just an example of how that adding that little bit of automation to it takes an already useful screen and then does, some percentage of that work for you already. So to agents who are paying attention, just that might be worth rewatching that section just to see how to do that. because it's like having a person there, paying somebody to say, would you go review the ones that have a rate increase less than this and send them this email and make a note, except it's already just included in your EZLynx cost. It's pretty amazing.
Right. And it makes it a lot less overwhelming when you go in every day and look at that retention center, because all the ones that don't need to be in there are already out of the way, and you can focus on all the ones that are on that list, because you have to at least look at them, most likely remarket them, and then get with the customer. And I did, in one case, had an agent that said, I didn't know EZLynx did this. This is actually going to probably save me from having to hire somebody, because this
Yeah.
is the kind of thing that I've been doing, that I'm just getting overwhelmed and trying to manually manage this process. And I was honestly thinking I was going to have to hire somebody, and I didn't know EZLynx did this, and now I probably won't have to. So it's just something to think about. If you can automate the stuff and put time back in your day to do other things that are gonna make you money, or you can, make connections with people and sell policies. It's such a useful tool to have. I just can't
Yeah.
say enough good things about Retention Center.